Now, it's my honor to introduce Daron Roberts, our commencement speaker for today. Daron is a former NFL coach and author of Call and Audible. He's the founding director of the Center for Sports and Leadership Innovation here at the University of Texas. The center is the first university-based institute dedicated to developing leadership and character curricula for high school, collegiate, and professional athletes. Through the center, Daron teaches a course, a game plan for winning at life, to incoming freshman student athletes. Roberts holds a faculty appointment in the liberal arts college, or liberal arts program. He has received the Silver Spurs Centennial Teaching Award and the Creative Engagement Award, and was named a distinguished faculty member by the School of Undergraduate Studies in 2015. His research revolves around issues of rejection, failure management, and leadership. He's been featured in ESPN The Magazine, Bloomberg Business Week, and Sports Illustrated. His articles have appeared in the Dallas Morning News, Fortune, Houston Chronicle, and Time. Roberts is also the host of an industry-leading podcast, A Tribe Called Yes. It's available on iTunes and Stitcher. Please welcome Daron Roberts.
All right, what an incredible day. Graduates, stand up. I know you got real cozy, but you're gonna stand up. All right, I want you to turn around. Look at all of the abuelos and the cousins and the family members. I want you to blow them kisses. I want you to thank them. You may be seated. So many of them picked up your children, babysat them. They brought you Whataburger when you were working on papers late at night. They deserve our gratitude. I grew up in the piney woods of East Texas, a fifth generation East Texan. My great-great-grandfather owned 160 acres by 1870. And it's still a mystery in my family how this black man who just walked out of slavery was able to accumulate so much land in such a short period of time. But this is the drive that I came to the University of Texas with when I got here in 1997. Now, my goal when I arrived at the University of Texas was to be governor of this state by age 40. Okay, I'll turn 41 next month, so obviously I took a wrong turn somewhere. But I graduated and then I applied to Harvard Law School, and I did not get accepted. I didn't get rejected. What's in the middle? The dreaded wait list. I'll paraphrase for you. The letter went like this: Dear Daron, we like you. Unfortunately, we like a lot more people more than we like you. In the highly unlikely event that all of those people turn us down, we may reach back out to you. But if you have any viable options for law school, we highly advise that you take them. With love, Joyce P. Crowell, Dean of Admissions. Thus began my love affair with rejection. I applied 4 years in a row, was waitlisted 4 years in a row. I mean, folks, essentially what we had was they just changed the date at the top. So lazy. And just would mail the same letter to me. My mother, 31 years in elementary school principal, calls me one day and she says, Daron, you know I love you. Okay, just a little side note. If any of you who are in any sort of relationship, if the conversation begins with, you know I love you, there's a rough patch ahead. I said, yes, Mom, I'm aware of that, you know, the entire gestation period and raising me, yes. She said, Daron, I don't think Harvard wants you. Ooh. I said, well, Mom, you know, at your school, you walk through the hallways and they have these signs like, keep your face to the sunshine and you can do it. I said, well, what about all that? She said, Daron, that's for young people. You're old now. You need to go to law school somewhere. So I finally get in on my 4th attempt. I get in, I'm going through law school, going through the motions. The summer before I graduate, I work a football camp on a whim. 3 days, I'm coaching 6th graders, none of whom had any athletic talent whatsoever. Fortunately, they had a fill-in coach who had absolutely no coaching capabilities. But I noticed something. It was the very first time in my life that I did not have to set my alarm clock to get up. And so I flew back to Boston for my last year of law school. I called my mom and I said, "Mom, I want to be a football coach." She said, "That's great, honey. Let me put your dad on the phone." Reverend Kurt Roberts, 42 years, Baptist minister, Mount Olive Baptist Church. "So you want to be a football coach?" Daron, "Yes, sir." "Dad, do you know how much debt you're in?" Caveat, I had racked up $250,000 in debt. Yes, yeah, I'm still paying it, so I'm the one that should be sad. Pre-interest, and the deal that my dad and my mom made with me when I was coming out of high school was that they would pay for undergrad, but I would have to pay for grad and law school. But I was fortunate to get a full ride to go to Texas, so I started doing a little accounting. And I said, "Dad, you know, by my very crude accounting, it appears you and Mom owe me around $68,492.64 pre-interest." And so my dad, being the Baptist minister that he is, there was a pause, and he said, "Well, let's pray." So we bowed our heads. I still haven't seen the check. I decided to be a football coach. I write a letter to all 32 teams. I get 31 rejections. The Houston Texans, no. Dallas Cowboys, no. New England Patriots, no. Finally, I get a yes from Herm Edwards with the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, we got a Chiefs fan. All right. Good luck this season. So anyway, Coach Edwards calls me and he says, "Is this Daron Roberts?" "Yes, sir." I said, "This is Coach Edwards with the Kansas City Chiefs." "Son, what's wrong with you?" "I read your cover letter. It doesn't make any sense to me." I said, "Coach, I work this camp." He said, yeah, whatever. Take out a piece of paper. I have a training camp internship for you. No pay, no benefits, 18-hour days. He said, "I need an answer right now." And I said, "Well, sign me up. Sign me up." And that was a decision that many people didn't understand. And I think about the decision that you made to get this master's degree. Right? How many people around you were saying that you don't have the time, you have too many responsibilities, you're too young, you're too old, and for some reason you decided to do away with the naysayers and to make this decision, and now we are celebrating this achievement. That was the same position that I was in. And after interning for 1 year, I went on and got a full-time job with the Chiefs and coached for 7 years. And now as you launch this next phase in your life, I want to give you a few thoughts for this next phase of your expedition. Number one, we will die, okay? This is a certainty. And the reason why I begin here is because oftentimes it's very easy to sort of get into a routine where we take life for granted. The reality is none of us will make it out of here alive. Not here, but just life. Don't call 911. We only get one shot. This is it. And so I congratulate you for taking the effort and going against the grain and taking the risk, because there are no second chances. People will tell you have time, but you don't. Time has us. And so I just want to congratulate you for remembering that at some point we will die, and we must keep this motivation to move ahead. So I want you to start the business now. I want you to start the nonprofit now. I want you to take the leadership position in your community now, because the longer we wait and the more time that we take, the fewer people that we are able to impact. Number two, hope is not a strategy. Life favors people who stay in motion. Life favors people who stay in motion. There are no more excuses. Think about age. A 97-year-old man at the University of Texas just won the Nobel Prize for Chemistry, and a 16-year-old girl from Sweden just took on the United Nations. We live in an incredible time to bring all of the hopes and dreams that we harbor inside of us to fruition. This is your time. And finally, I want you to stay in the deep end. I want you to stay in the deep end. At some point, all of you decided that you wanted more. You had a bachelor's, but you wanted a master's. You heard a million reasons why you shouldn't be able to do it. Too old, too busy, not enough assistance. You don't need another degree. But for some reason, you made the decision. I want you to hold on to that grit. Let's not let this beautiful moment become the high watermark. Let's take this as motivation to fuel the next phase. In 2019, there are absolutely no barriers to entry. No office, WeWork. No Wi-Fi, Starbucks. No funding, Kickstarter. No skills, YouTube. No degree, WGU. In 1857, Frederick Douglass was staring down the barrel of a country that was about to be at war with itself over bondage. And this was a man who was no stranger to staying in the deep end. At a very early age, he had taken on the disguise of a naval officer and fled to freedom. In 1857, and facing this imminent battle, Douglass said this: "The conflict has been exciting, agitating, all-absorbing, and for the time being, putting all other tumults to silence. It must do this, or it does nothing. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. If there is no struggle, there is no progress." Graduates, stay in the deep end. Thank you.